Hi everybody, it's Amanda. Today I'm going to be discussing an introduction to the class data type and classes. It's going to be a brief introduction. I'm not going to really go over constructors or destructors today. So let's just go ahead and run the program and see what it does. First, all it's going to do is just display my current age. So my age is 33 because I'm 33 years old. So I'm going to come over to my header file. If you didn't watch my previous video, I highly encourage you to watch it for this reason, because I'm introducing the class data type, as you can see here. But before we add any of this information back in, this is going to be the syntax for our class. So this is the syntax to create a class. And as you can see, it's different than the other data types. For example, the other data types being integer or a string or a double or a char. You can see that this data type is blue as indicated as a keyword, which indicates that it's a data type. However, when it's used inside of a program, it's going to be starting with the name of the class itself. So in this case, we capitalize the first letter of the class itself, and then we have our curly braces followed by our good old semicolon. And to get our age and introduce you to classes, and if you already know what structs are, that's great. I'm not going to talk about those today. Today, my main focus is classes. So the main difference between structs and classes are structs are going to be public by default and classes are private by default. So unless you declare your attributes in your member functions as public, then you're not going to have access, depending on we'll discuss that here in a second. So as you can see, everything turned red because I took out my code. That's okay. No big deal. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just to create an integer named age. And again, I'm not going to discuss constructors. So I'm going to create, they have a thing called either accessors or getters. So I'm going to use an accessor or a getter to get my age to my age. And it's not going to change, so it's going to be a constant. So I'm going to come over. So this is good. Again, this is my header file. These are my include guards I have on 1, 2, and 17. Those are my include guards. So 1, 2, 3, and 18 are my include guards. C.h video for more information about that. Then I come down to my class, which is, this is my data type here, and it's named example just to make it basic. And as you can see, here is my public. These are going to be my methods called my methods. So accessor or getter methods, and it is of an integer data type named my age with parentheses, and it's going to be a constant because you don't want this to change, so therefore it is going to stay a constant. Come down to our private, which are these are going to be called attributes. And these are your variables inside of your class. So this is just a very basic class right now, and this is a great syntax for it. So I'm going to go to my implementation file in this case, which is going to end with the .cpp for my implementation file, and I've included my header file, as you can see below. So I've included my header file as shown below, otherwise I wouldn't have access to my class data type. I have to include it with these quotes. And this is, again, the syntax minus whatever the header file name is. Obviously, you have to change that. So then I come back to my class and I have an attribute, which is my variable, which is an integer named age. And then I have my method, and I can create an inline method. However, that's something for the future. These are for my beginners here to make you understand this on a deep level, hopefully. Again, I'm starting with my data type. So I have just like I would a function. So I'm starting with my data type, the name of my data type, and all of my accessors or my getter methods are always going to be constant. So it will be a constant, which therefore it will be const followed by my good old semicolon, and that is my syntax. As I come into my implementation file, as I said, this is my .cpp for my class in particular, and I'm including my class here at the top. As I come down, I'm going to start with my data type, followed by the name of my class, which is example. And then I'm going to use the name of my function with my parentheses. And again, because it's an accessor, I'm going to follow with const. Here, some people get confused and like, oh, I use a semicolon. Nope, no semicolon there. That is not syntax. This is going to be your syntax for creating a method, basic method in this case. So you have, again, you have your data type, you have your name of your class with your scope resolution operator, followed by the name of your method and your parentheses. And in this case, because it's an accessor, it will be a const. In this case, because it is a constant, we are going to be returning that constant. And in this case, it's going to be my age. So because the attribute inside of our class, inside of our private attributes is named age, we have access inside of our implementation file, and I'm going to return that age directly. As you saw in the video, my age instantly printed. In this case, my age would not instantly print right now because I did not assign a value, and it's not assigned a value right now. So it could contain previous information. That's something to keep in your back of your mind. However you want to declare these attributes inside of your private class, that's something to keep in the back of your mind. So again, it's going to return my age, whatever that age may be at the time. If I wanted to change my age because, hey, I just turned 33, I went from 32 to 33, I'm going to create a void method because it's not going to return anything because, again, I can't return something if it's going to change something. So set, usually they're called setters or mutators, I should say. So we have our setters or mutators. And I'm going to start again with my void data type, followed by my name, new age, name of my function, I should say. And because I'm changing the age, I'm going to need something inside of these parameters. So because it's going to be an integer data type, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same data type. However, in this case, it is going to be the same data type. It's going to be new age. And I'm going to actually change this to set age instead. And I'm going to create my setter. And these, again, so these, in this case, right here and right here, those two are what we call our prototypes. For our methods. So as we come into our implementation file, again, I need to create something that's going to allow me to create or set my age to a different age. So again, I did the same exact thing. So I'm starting with the data type as in the class. I started with the class name itself, followed by my scope resolution operator, followed by the name set age, which is set age. And then I included the variable, or I should say the parameter inside of my parameters themselves. So I included, my parameter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my age and assign it new age. And I did have curly braces right here. That's why it's yelling at me. Sorry about that. All right. And there we go. So I have age and I set it to new age. And I'm going to go ahead and stop right there until we go on to this next part. Okay, so this is where people get a little confused on the attributes of the class. So this is where I'm going to explain it. So hopefully I can wrap this up. And it's unfortunately this is going to be a long video. So okay, as we go into our implementation file again, which is our .cpp file for our class, which is included here, again, included class data.h in the quotes. That's our syntax to include our class. And our class name is example. So maybe not the best name, but it's an example. So the name is an example. So we come down and again, we have our data type. We have the name of our class, scope resolution operator, name of our method, followed by const because it is a const method. It's going to return an integer because it is an integer data type. Therefore, it will return an integer function data type, I should say. So it will return something. As we come below, though, this is where people get a little confused, I feel like. So because we have our void data type and the name of our function, or sorry, not name of our function, name of our class, then our scope resolution operator, name of our method, followed by our parameters. Again, these are parameters. So the new age is not matching age, although I could just change it to age. It's just indicating for you that it's doing something different. So as we can see here, so we have new age here. If we were to come to our class example, you can see that age is really just being assigned here to new age. So if the age was set, so say I set the age to a different number and then I decided to do it again, then I'm just reassigning this value or this attribute inside of the class because I'm able to through this mutator. So let's now go ahead and use our class that we created, our handy dandy class here that we created, and show you how it works. So as we go into our main, because again, I was talking about data types. So we have our integer, we have our double, we have our char, we have our long int, etc. However, when we use a class, again, a class is going to start with usually an uppercase letter. So this is indicating that I'm using the class data type. So again, example, and I'm going to name my example, new example. Again, maybe not the best word choice, but hey, it is what it is. So in order for me to set this class, because again, I didn't set anything in my original example, I did set, or I should assign an original value. However, in this one I didn't. So as of right now, if I were to display the new example and my age, it's going to not display anything because there's nothing in there. Oh, actually, there is something in there, and that's what we call garbage. So that's why you should actually assign your variables inside of your program. And so now anytime if somebody were to do that, it would just start at 0. And therefore, we can do that a different way. But anyway, going back to my program. So going into new example, in order for me to assign my age a new age, I need to set an age. So I just turned 33, so I'm going to set my age. And as you can see, the number inside memory is now 0 because I assigned the original value inside of my class to 0. However, I use the name of my instance of my class, and that's what this is called, my instance of my class. And no memory or anything has been established until I come down here, and this is where memory has been established. Although my class has been created, nothing has happened until line 13, where I use the name of my class followed by my dot operator, followed by my method name. When in this case I'm changing my name, or sorry, changing my age, or changing the age to 33 because I am 33. So now I'm going to display it. My age is, I could have just copied and pasted it, but, or well, no, I'm not, I don't even have to. I could just call my previous age because now I've set it. So there we go. So now it's going to display my age is 33. And something I didn't discuss, see my age is 33. In order for you to use your class as well as your main program, as you can see, I named class data main, which is a really long name, but I named it for you guys. I wouldn't normally name that for myself. However, I did it. So then I start with my header file, my implementation file. This is just my main program, just a really long name for a main program. However, when I go to run my program, I didn't specify this earlier. Both of those .cpp files need to be included in order for that to work. Again, my header file needs to be included in each one of these files except for the actual header file itself, because this is where it's being created or it has already been created. And these include guards are preventing it from being added to multiple programs besides the ones that I'm using. And obviously in my implementation, it's part of the class itself. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. This is a really large topic. I didn't really prepare too much. I will discuss more. Thanks for your time. I hope everybody has a great day.